Have you noticed this? You can remember certain moments from years ago with more clarity than what you did last week. Entire summers feel vivid. Specific songs still carry weight. Certain versions of yourself feel strangely alive. And yet, the last few years blur together. Weeks vanish. Months feel interchangeable. Whole stretches of life leave no impression. Most people call this nostalgia. But that's not what's really happening. There's a misunderstanding about nostalgia. Most people think nostalgia means wanting the past back. A time, a place, a version of life that no longer exists. But that's not quite true. If you really wanted the past back, you'd want everything that came with it. The uncertainty, the lack of control, the not knowing. And most people don't. What we're actually longing for is not a time, but a state of becoming. A period when life was still working on us. There were moments in your life when time felt dense, heavy, full. Not because everything was perfect, but because everything was new. You were encountering unfamiliar places, unformed versions of yourself, first experiences that hadn't yet been named, judged, or repeated. You didn't know who you were going to be yet, and that mattered. Those moments didn't just pass through you, they shaped you. Your nervous system adapted, your identity stretched, your sense of self reorganized. That's why those memories remain intact, like sealed chambers in time. They weren't just experienced, they changed you. Here's something we're rarely told. Novelty gives time structure. When something is new, your attention sharpens, your perception widens, your identity subtly rearranges itself. You notice details, you remember conversations, you feel present without trying. Your mind records more information because it needs to update its internal map of reality. That's why a single summer from years ago can feel longer than the last 5 years combined. Not because the past moved slower, but because you were changing faster. Time didn't stretch, you did. Now contrast that with modern life. Same environments, same routines, same digital patterns, endless variations of the same day. You wake up, scroll, work, consume, repeat. Nothing is technically wrong, but nothing is forming you either. Your identity stabilizes, your habits harden, your risks narrow. And when formation stops, time collapses. Days lose edges. Weeks blur. Months vanish. Life doesn't feel shorter. It feels thinner. You're not lacking stimulation, you're lacking transformation. So the mind reaches backward. Not out of sentimentality, not because the past was better, but out of structural necessity. This is where nostalgia is born. Not as escapism, but as a search for contrast. You don't miss the past because it was happier. You miss it because it was distinct. Because life then had chapters, not loops. Because you weren't optimizing yourself. You were discovering yourself. You weren't managing an identity. You were forming one. And the body remembers that. The answer isn't to relive the past. And it isn't to accelerate harder into the future. It's to re-enter states where experience can still shape you, where novelty exists, where attention is required, where outcomes aren't guaranteed, learning without mastering, creating without optimizing, being present without documenting, allowing moments to finish working on you before moving on. You're not nostalgic. You're mourning the loss of becoming. And the moment you allow life to change you again, time doesn't slow. It returns.